Also tonight, the day we'll always remember for how it changed everything. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
It is still so difficult 12 years later as we look at some of the ways Americans mark this September 11th. And across this country, this has become a day to do more than remember. It's become a day of service to others. In a way, it rekindles the spirit of that day 12 years ago. Yes, it was born of tragedy, but people were moved to care for one another. Our report tonight from NBC's Rahema Ellis.
Memorial ceremonies across the country, remembering lives lost, families forever broken.
I love you, Daddy.
And connections never made.
Uncle Teddy, even though I never met you, I know you're looking down on me today.
Now Americans are turning this day, rooted in grief and sadness, into a day of giving back. In New York City, dozens chipped in to hand out donated produce to hundreds of low-income families.
It's not only important to kind of commemorate the lives that were lost, but also to kind of reach out into the community.
David Paine launched the effort to turn this day of remembrance into a day of service as well.
We felt that volunteering and doing good deeds reflected the way the country responded to the attacks itself.
He says today about 35 million are volunteering nationwide. In Boston, stuffing care packages for homeless vets and troops overseas. In Phoenix, renovating a community center in honor of 9/11 victims and troops who died in the wars that followed. And at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, a mobile 9/11 museum is making its way across the country.
This is Captain Pat Brown from Ladder 3.
I learned more about firefighters.
Turning 9/11 into a history lesson for those too young to remember. Sixth grader Mackenzie Boswell is among the 46 million Americans born since the attacks.
My daddy, he was in Afghanistan.
Her mother says it was a teaching moment for Mackenzie, whose father was severely injured in the war.
She walked up and she grabbed my hand and she said, "Now I get it. I understand why Daddy had to go. Sorry." It means the world to me that she finally gets it.
Bridging generations with powerful information and in the shadow of a terrible tragedy, doing something good. Rahema Ellis, NBC News, New York.
And that is our broadcast on this Wednesday night, September 11th of 2013. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Brian Williams. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.
Antonio de Jesus Montoya Valdez. Cheryl and
Jeremy Logan Glick. Stephen Glick.
Jonathan M. Connors.
Kevin Patrick Connors.
Kevin